Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk, and today I'm talking to you about the lovely Joyful Holly stamp set that's in the current autumn and winter catalogue. And this is a great stamp set for making quick and speedy cards or dressing them up a bit as well. I'm going to do two cards today showing you how a very similar, how the stamp can be used in similar ways but actually make cards that look a little bit different as well. So two orientations using the stamp set, and it's a great stamp set because what you've got these two sprigs of holly, two infills as well, so it makes colouring them quick and easy. A little berry infill, so again really quick to make those pop, and then a couple of sentiments too. Really good value stamp set. It's photopolymer as well, which makes lining those up really easy. The only thing I would recommend is that you grab yourself your stamping pierce mat as well, because that really helps get a lovely crisp image. So these are the two cards that I've created, and as you can see here I've used the Timeless Label Punch, which is this one here, for the sentiment, and I've got two card bases, one using thick Whisper White to give you a nice sturdy card base, and the other one is using a little bit more cardstock because we've got a layer of a card base that's shaded Spruce, and then a layer of Real Red and Whisper White, and a layer of Whisper White on the inside. So those are our two cards, and you can see there that actually, the stamp set, you can get two really pretty looking cards. Depends on your personal preference. I rather like this kind of lovely clean and simple look, and you'll see I've got some lovely red rhinestones there. So for that you need your rhinestones and your dark Real Red stamping blend. So let's get started then with these two cards. Okay, so to start off with, you're going to obviously need a couple of card bases. So if we start with the shaded Spruce card base, so this is half a sheet of A4, so 10.5, trimmed to 29 centimetres and scored at 14.5 to give a tent-fold card base. I've then cut a piece of Real Red to create that layer, and I've gone a really narrow border on this, and this is 14.3 by 10.3, and you know me, a bit of a frugal crafter, I'm going to gut the centre out of that. So I'm lining it up at 1.5 centimetres and cutting from 1.5 down to 13 centimetres, turning it and cutting from 1.5 down to 9. You've got a little line on your tool that helps with that, and you'll find that gives you kind of a couple of little millimetres overlap, but that's fine because it's going to be well covered by our front layer. And what that gives you, I haven't quite come down long enough on this one, there we go, just take your snips into there. You've got a piece where you haven't quite joined, and that gives you a piece which is perfect for punching layers out as well. So that's our layer that's going to go onto the front here. I've then got two pieces of 14 by 10 centimetre Whisper White cardstock as well. So I'm going to add my frame onto the front of my card, and I'm just using snail here. I've run out of, just using the last of, I've run out of my stamping seal, my new one, and I found a snail hiding in the back of the cupboard, so I thought I'd better use that. So add that layer onto the front, then you'll see a really narrow little border. Then we can do some stamping. I would recommend you grab a piece of scrap paper when you're doing your stamping, because you're going to be stamping off the edge of that. And with this card I've used the larger of the two sprigs and some shaded Spruce. So there's my large sprig, there's my large sprig infill, and there's my shaded Spruce to start off with. Okay, and all I'm going to do is on my inside of my card just add a little sprig in the bottom corner, and I'm stamping off to get a lighter shade And to say, just hover over it until you've lined up a couple of leaves, and then press down. And then we've got our inner, so I'm going to pop that to one side, and then we can bring in that piece for the front. So I'm just going to repeat stamp down that left hand edge. I can't honestly remember if I used the larger or the smaller image on this one. In fact, I think it was actually the smaller one. So let's use the smaller one on this left hand edge. So I'm just going to come in and stamp, and I'm just sort of hovering and creating a bit of an interesting sort of pattern, coming in a little bit further with some of those. And I'm probably going to just come across a little bit as well. And on that very top corner, just add a little bit like so. So there we've got our overall design. And then to infill, really easy. Same technique, so stamp off, line up and stamp. And you'll see there, as I say, I'm just sort of hovering. I didn't get that one quite as well lined up as I perhaps would have chosen. But that may be where I choose to place my sentiment. So just rotating slightly. Okay, and then coming in on that last little bit. And then to create the berries, I pop my shaded spruce away and come in with my real red. And these have but a 3 and a 1 on there, so you can easily do those berries really quickly. And just pop those in. So there's our panel. I'm going to keep my reel, pop that to one side. I'm going to grab my scrap of Whisper White. So just bring that in. Grab my sentiment and straight up and down to stamp. In with the Timeless Punch. And I usually line up the sentiment that is straight with that bit of the punch. Come in with my scrap from middle. And this piece, so you can choose now which way you want to layer it. So I'm going to, on this one, just cut and layer. Put my ink pad away before I stick my grubby fingers in it, which as you can see are well inked at the moment. So I'm just going to pop a bit of snail, top and bottom, line that up with the edge, and do the same on the other side. Just a nice narrow border. And then all you need to do then is just pop a couple of dimensionals onto the back, and then we can layer up our card. So here's my inner panel. Pop that on the inside, and you'll notice on the front panel I'm adding my glue before I add my sentiment, because my card is nice and flat now without any layers on it. I can pop that on there. And all remains is to pop my my sentiment on, and as I said, I'm just going to use that to cover up where I didn't quite stamp as well as I might have done. And then for the actual, I've already done these in advance because I would recommend that you leave them just to dry slightly. It just takes a while for the alcohol ink to dry. And then just once you've coloured those in, you can just add those wherever you'd like. On your sentiment, and there we have our first card. Oh, looks like a bit of a wonky sentiment on there. Okay, I'll correct that shortly. Right, so card number 1 done. So let's crack on with card number 2. So for this one, thick whisper white card base, 14.5 by 21, scored in half at 10.5. And let's just stamp on the inside of our card with our shaded spruce image. Again, you can do as much or as little on the inside as you like, and I sometimes forget to show you what I do. Always conscious of time with my videos. Try and keep them down to 20 minutes, even if I do accidentally edit them a little bit short occasionally. And then just pop that, again, hovering over, pressing down. And I'm just going to leave it with the green there. So that's ready for the front of my card. So it's the same technique as before. We're going to gut the centre out of our piece of card. You don't have to, but as I say, frugal crafters as we are. And because it's thick whisper white, you don't need as much extra layers to kind of create a really quite robust card as well. So again, 1.5 to 2 centimetres, so around about 3/4 of an inch to gut. Yeah. So that's ready to go on the front of my card. So there we go, really narrow border on that, just a few millimetres. Okay, next for our central panel. And this time I've used both stamps. So I'm going to use my large outline first and come in from the left and join that up with one from the right by turning it through 90 degrees. I'm then going to fill in with my smaller one on the top, almost to create like a figure of 8 on there, like so. And then we're just into filling in that stamping. So again, this is our large one, so we're just going to come in, line up a couple of leaves, again, you'll find your own way of doing this, whether you turn the stamp or you turn the card. I vary, depending on how I'm feeling. I'm going to do the same with my smaller image. So again, just hovering. As I say, obviously it'll take slightly longer because I've pre-prepared some of my... Oh, right. I can't remember if I stamped off on that one. Let's repeat it just in case. I'm just lining that up, just taking a moment. Okay, so that's my green. I say you say almost like a figure of 8 design appearing there. Now with some real red. So 2 bits that we want to do here. The first is to create our one is to create our sentiment, and the other is to add our holly berries. So sentiment, scrap bit of card, There we go, that can be drying, hopefully it won't smudge as much. And then we can just come in and do as many or as few of these berries as you want. And I say, by doing the 1 and the 3 at the same time, it does come together quite quickly, even if I'm making rather a mess of it, of my block. I would recommend that when you're stamping yourself, you just wipe that excess off. Depend how good at stamping you are. If you don't rock, then you'll be fine. If you tend to rock your stamp, then you might find you get some extras, which might be where you decide to. Oh, there we go, I've got my finger in there, perfect. Okay, so next we're just going to again do a couple of bits of punching. So again, lining this up in the centre, and then I think actually I'm going to use the red again on this one, just a timeless label. And this time, because it's a long card, I'm cutting it down the middle there. And again, same technique, add your glue to the back of your Whisper White, just at each end in this instance. And you can use the straight edges on this one to line that up. If you are unsure about this, use some wet glue to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. And then I've already got some coloured diamantes. I'm going to add my couple of 3. Let's go all out for that. I'm going to add this panel to my card now. She says. So panel to card before we put the sentiment in the middle. Add your sentiment and then you can add your diamantes wherever you feel. Don't put it on upside down as I almost did there. And again, you can pop that in the middle or at the top. But come in. I'm going to add a diamante up here. I'm going to add one in there because of my smudge. And again, I'm going to add one in there. And then you can add as many or as few as you like, or you can just add some plain ones. But there we have a pair of pretty cards ready for Christmas. So you're ahead with your Christmas card makes in next to no time. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to purchase any of the products, pop along to my Stampin' Up shop at heidismith.stampinup.net, and or you can follow the links on my blog at Flutter by Heidi to each of the products. Love it if you chose me as your demonstrator, and please subscribe to my channel so that you know when I'm posting another project. Thanks for watching. Come back again soon. Bye.